I started doing workshops and doing groups where I'm getting up in front of others, like outside of the gym setting, and talking about resilience and perseverance and goal setting and vision and taking action. You should know what 1 hour of your time is worth. You should know the value that you bring to the marketplace. You know what your passion is. Starts with clarity of vision. If you don't have the clarity of vision, whatever next thing you get, you're not going to see it through because you don't have the clarity of vision. So the point of my pain was being told you will never run or jump again. And all that stuff, I was like, you know what? Like, I want to be able to take this even bigger. If you know why you do what you do, you have to know how to charge for what you do. That's how you're going to change your life, and that's how you're going to leave a legacy for your children and your family. You got to know your worth. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rob, and I'm back with episode number 375 of Shut Up and Grind. We were all about overcoming obstacles, defying the odds, and inspiring you to clear whatever's blocking the path from whatever success you want in this lifetime. So today we're going to be talking about not playing small. But before I bring my guest on, we want to talk a little bit about authenticity. Okay, you gotta be yourself. Stop tying your identity to your job. Stop tying your identity to your significant other, or identifying yourself as just I don't want to say just, but being a parent, because you are much deeper than that. You are much bigger than that. And there's so many things in this world that you can accomplish that you're talking yourself out of. One of the number one questions I get is, why do you call your show Shut Up and Grind? Like why are you telling people to shut up? No, I want you to tell yourself to stop it. Because I've been there myself, doubting myself, imposter syndrome. Who's going to listen to me as a podcast host? And now I have 4 days a week that's booking into June of next year, right? Because I finally stepped into who I was. I'm a competitor. Right, that's what I do. At the heart of everything is I am a competitor. So I look at everything that I've been told. You'll never run or jump again. You can't start a business during a recession. That's other people projecting their insecurities onto you. And you have a chance every single day to wake up and step into your power. And I felt like that was a good one to start with today's topic. I always forget to scroll back up. All right, so who's helping me have this talk today? Randy Gage, and he says, if you're tired of playing small, stuck in your own story, or afraid to challenge the status quo, this episode is your wake-up call. Randy doesn't hold back. So let's meet Randy. Welcome to the show, sir. How you doing?
Hey, Robert. Great to be on with you.
Awesome. Where you joining me from?
Miami.
I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. Would you believe it?
There's not many of us left, but I'm glad to hear there's at least one more.
Yeah, I'm hanging on. I've been following them since I was like 8. Now I'm up here in Rhode Island. I'm in New England, so I could have very easily jumped on a Patriots bandwagon for all those years. But I'm like, nope, I'm holding out, and I want to see my Dolphins finally make it. So we'll see what happens. So. All right, so we're going to dive in. We're going to be talking about unleashing prosperity through pain. But before we get there, let's find out a little bit more about you. How would you describe yourself at your core?
In my essence, I'm a writer.
Writer, okay.
Not to identify with an occupation, because that's not what I mean. I say that because that's when I'm at one of my peak states of happiness and joy and creativity, is when I'm hunched over my MacBook Pro in my lonely writer's garret, writing my next blog post or my next book or my next whatever. And I think because I'm really a philosopher, and you say, well, what do you do? How do you make a living? What exactly do you do? I'd say, well, I'm like Socrates and those guys. I'm a philosopher. I go down to the town square every day and I stand on a peach box and I speak what's on my mind. Because that's what I'm doing, right? That's what you're doing. That's what
Yeah.
anybody who choose to be in the creative space and host a podcast, write a book, write a blog post, that's what we're doing. And I'm a deep thinker. I'm always working how to be a more critical thinker. And I think I write so that I know what I'm thinking. And when I write, it forces me to clarify my thinking. Because like I can give a speech, 10,000 people there, put me on stage, put a quarter in the jukebox, I can rock the stage. I'm going to get a standing ovation. They're going to love it. And then I'm going to go back in my room and order room service and say, well, damn, I told him I was going to do the 6 secrets of whatever, and I think I left out number 6. You don't catch that on the stage. They might not even have caught it in the audience, except like the people who were taking notes and they're like, wait, what, But when you write, that stuff can't escape. It jumps out at the page that, wait a minute, you jumped the shark here. You went for, this is not a logical sequential thing. Writing forces you to be a better thinker. And if you're a better thinker, I think you have a better life.
I love it. And that's exactly how I feel about speaking. I interviewed someone 2 weeks ago, and as he's telling his story, I had a moment in there where he shared something about being homeless, and I completely reframed how he thought about it. And he was like, oh my God, he's like, I never thought about it that way. So for this Black Friday, I actually put together a program that helps seasoned speakers find the hidden gems in their own stories. So it's like, I always tell people, when inspiration comes, it's like, don't push it away. It's like, you never know when that next big idea is going to come. And we live in a society now where we focus solely on our challenges, that the opportunities that are right in front of us, we just completely walk right past them. Right. So in your day-to-day life, and when you're up on stage doing your thing, how much of that do you see?
Well, same thing. Let's say I'm coaching with a speaker. They'll come to me and, hey, I'm working on a thing. I always say, and they say, where does the material come from? Where do you get all that? How do you keep writing these books? Material is your life. Your life is your material. So no matter what happens, if you're a professional speaker, it's almost like I was actually on a plane with Lisa Ford, who's also a professional speaker. And the plane landed, it bounced like 15 feet. I'm talking a wide body jet. It's the roughest landing I've ever had, and I'm a 7 million miler, frequent flyer, right?
Wow.
A lot of planes. I have never seen a plane bounce like that. And I joke with her afterward, I'm like, if this plane would have crashed and you survived, I would have had to take you out because, we can't both have the same story on, for our right? So, the speaker, we just say, it's all new material. Oh, Randy, you got 10 cancer tumors, and okay, great. I got the material for my next podcast, I guess. Oh, Randy, a meteorite just landed on your garage and killed your Bentley, and well, great. I guess I know my next book. It's if you are a speaker, author, coach, say what is the worst day of your life? What is the best day of your life? That's where the material is going to come from. And it's usually going to be the worst day of your life, the day you lost a loved one, your business went bankrupt, your company failed, whatever, you blew up your marriage. That's where the best content comes from, because that's where the best learning lessons come from.
Exactly. Like you heard in my intro video where I said that my pain was being told I'd never run or jump again. And when people hear stuff like that, you have a decision to make. It's like you can just take that and just say, make that your reality, or you can be like, no, I don't accept that. Like January 14th coming up, I'm having a full knee replacement. And just before I came on with you, I was looking at races that I can do in June or July. Whereas most people would be like, oh, it takes like a year to recover, it's this and that. Like your brain controls healing. Your brain controls your body. So if I tell myself I'm going to be better in 6 months, and then I'm going to put the action behind it to be better in 6 months, it's highly likely that that outcome happens. When I get to May, if I need more time, then I'll just find another race a little, a couple more months down the line. But I don't ever focus on the setback. I focus on the desired outcome that I want, and I want to assume your mentality is similar to that.
100%, because I actually believe you, when you create an intention like that, you bend the universe to your will.
Yes.
Which sounds crazy to some people. It sounds like woo-woo BS, right? But
Yeah.
I don't think so, because at its ultimate, everything in this universe, at its ultimate level, is energy vibrations. So this
Yes.
pencil I'm holding is energy vibrations. This microphone here, the laptop or phone you guys are watching this on or listening this to, they're all energy vibrations. And what do we know? Energy can be repelled, energy can be attracted. So when you set an intention, and you do, and you set one that's bold, it's daring, it's imaginative, it's something that inspires other people, you attract people and circumstances that will help you manifest that goal. I really believe that.
Yeah, I do too. And that's right in alignment with what I said a minute ago, that once you take your eyes off of your struggles, they're like the opportunity, they're already there. Like they're already there. You're just not seeing it. And to your point about that I saw in that brief glance at your bio, your power does come from that pain. And I learned that firsthand when I literally lost everything. And I went into that dark place for a minute. It wasn't until I was like, you know what, you got to get back into your purpose. It's like you can't let this. It's like, what is this teaching me? Like, why did this just happen? And then I used that to propel myself forward. And now I have all kinds of good things going on now. And where I easily could have let that situation consume me. And sharing these types of stories is what's going to help better the entire world, because people are going to realize struggles happen to everyone. It's how you get through it is what matters. So, can you share something that you went through where it gave you a total perspective shift?
I had my business seized by the IRS and auctioned off
Mm.
in the courthouse steps. Left me 55 grand in debt. And this is back in the day. So 55 grand in debt with my earning capability at that time, it might as well be 55 million today, right?
Mm.
So I literally sold my furniture to eat. I sold
Wow.
the furniture to pay the rent. And I was like 30 years old. Okay. When you're 18 and you don't have any furniture, it's like almost romantic, you know? You
Yeah.
get out of the street, oh, look, somebody threw away a recliner. If I put a sheet on it, it'll work perfectly. Oh, wait, I can build bookcases with bricks and boards and I could get those for free. That's like romantic. You're 30 years old, your friends have kids, houses, cars, families, and you're home, homeless, or you got a home and no furniture in there. It's not romantic. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. But
Yeah.
I can tell you that's one of the best things that ever happened. If that didn't happen, I would still be working 80 to 100 hours a week in a greasy pizzeria trying to pay my bills. But because that happened, it shocked my system. I looked at my life with a whole new approach. I thought, God, I always wanted to be a writer. What if I started writing some articles and submit them to newspapers or magazines and get something published and make a little money? And what if I had been expelled from high school? I thought, what if I took some courses at the community college and studied foreign language, studied writing, studied anything? And it was such a wonderful wake up call to re engineer my life. And that never would have happened if they didn't come in and seize the place.
See, you said two very important things there. The first one thing that I say in almost every talk that I give is I tell people the pivot that you want, you already know. It's already there. It's in your subconscious mind. Like I knew as a teenager that I wanted to be a speaker. So when everything collapsed for me when I left the restaurant industry, like I knew that was where I wanted to go, into fitness and into speaking. And you said you always wanted to be a writer, right? So in the depths of where you were, not having a place to live, not having stuff, feeling down on yourself as a 30-year-old, the answer was right there. And you leaned into that answer. The other thing you said was re-engineering, right? Re-engineering. What people have to understand, life is not about luck. It's about what you do. And when I lost everything in 2023, I've been working like a dog for 2.5 years. I was like, I'm going to build something to ensure that that never happens again. It's like I rebooted the podcast. I wrote a book. And right now I'm up to 10 streams of income. So that way, if any one of them goes under, I'm not going to go under again. Like I had all my eggs in one basket. And when that blew up, it was crazy. But to your point, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am now. So when life happens to you, you have to look at where those golden nuggets are and then work into like lean into those and not on the negative stuff that happened.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny, we just buy into the story of society, what it tells us. So, I mean, I had started off as a, single mom, raised 3 kids by herself. We were very poor. I knew I was poor. You see these people on TV and they say, we were poor, but we didn't know it. There was so much love in our house. Oh, get out of here. I was poor. I knew it, right? And so then I got promoted to cook, and then I was a waiter, and then a manager trainee, and then an assistant manager. And so my dream became to be a restaurant manager. And then when I became a restaurant manager, I realized, it's not the American dream. This is the American nightmare. I guess I need to own my own restaurant. So then I went on and, undercapitalized, bootstrapped it, did it. And that's why, of course, I lost it. I didn't have the wherewithal and the resources to start it and do it the right way. But I did it just because I bought in the story. And at no point in all of those years, for 30 years, did I say, well, I always wanted to be a writer. How come I'm not writing? You get sucked into the mind viruses. This is what we do. This is how we do it. This is the way things are done here. And you never question it. So now my work is all about that. Everything, every podcast, every blog, every book is usually at some point going to go back to, let's question the premise. Because if the premise is wrong, everything that comes off of the premise is suspect.
Yeah, see, and everything that you just said is exactly why I named this show what I named it. Because people talk themselves out of their own betterment. It's like they think that they need more education, or I need another certification. I'm not this, I'm not that. It's like, just get started. Like, you'll be surprised. There's 9 billion people on the planet. You only need a couple hundred to be successful. That's it. Couple hundred. You don't have to do something that's going to be in every living room, in every kitchen, in every, like, not everybody's going to hear the way I talk and resonate. Not everyone's going to hear the way you talk and resonate. It happens. Like, people receive information differently, just like you mentioned earlier about energy, right? Some people might not like my energy. Some people love my energy, but so I just picked my lane. Like, I want to be a bold speaker. You are a bold speaker, right? So people are going to come to us who need that level. Like, even in the gym, because I manage a fitness business also. And even in the gym, there are people that need my direct style, right? The people that need a gentler approach, right? I'm not attracting them. So, like, they're not my target audience. So once people just realize you don't have to do something that's going to impact the entire planet, you just have to impact people's worlds, right? You do that and then you duplicate the process, you're going to be massively successful.
Did you ever read the essay by Kevin Kelly, 1000 True Fans?
I haven't read it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, Google it and read it, because it's a very short read. Everybody watching, listening right now, it's really a great read, but it shows how anybody on earth really could build a wonderful dream lifestyle business with 1,000 true fans. I don't think we're at 9 billion, by the way. I think that we're only up to about 8 billion in the world. But the point is saying you don't need 8 billion people. If you have 1,000 people who love you and your work, you should never have to look for a job the rest of your life. You should never have to worry about money the rest of your life, because you go back to, now there's some fundamental stuff, right? You got to solve problems or add value. That's how prosperity is created. So whether you're Steve Jobs coming up with the iPad, whether you're Waymo launching driverless cabs, whether you're Jeff Bezos doing Amazon, you're solving problems or you're adding value. And when you do that, there will always be people who will joyfully, lovingly, gratefully crawl naked over broken glass and throw money at you, because you're going to make the problems go away.
I love that, that visual. So I spoke at a career day back in September, and they wanted me to talk about the fitness industry. So when I got there, I was like, can I take this in a different direction? I was like, 'cause I don't want to just talk about fitness. So I went through, because now I'm sure you realize it's not easy to keep a teenager's attention, right, for the long term, right? So I started it by making it about them. It's like, right, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? And then I went through and I showed them how to leverage what they wanted to do. For example, one woman wanted to be a physical therapist, right? And I was like, so in being a physical therapist, like, can that give you generational wealth for your family? And she's like, I don't think so. I was like, but now what if you became a physical therapist, but you supplemented it with a YouTube channel and a TikTok channel and made how-to ebooks, you know, right? Because some people don't like going to the doctor. Like, so what if you could do a mobility guide for athletes, or, you know, how to manage low back pain in people over 50? I was like, now, as I just gave you 4 or 5 ideas that you can leverage that industry. And there was a young man who played basketball. So it was like, all right, name me all the things you need to be a good basketball player. So he's like rebounding and dribbling and speed and agility, mobility, vertical leap. I was like, now at your age, at the age of 17, can you write a video showing 10-year-olds how to do all those things? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I think I can. There you go. I just gave you a blueprint for you to supplement your basketball knowledge. I'm like, and you're just scratching the surface, you know? So when you're working with people and they're in that negative headspace, how do you help them reframe?
I'm going to catch them all the time on their inner dialogue, because somebody says, I just can't, I'm nervous in front of audiences. I just can't speak. I've never been able to do public speaking. I'm always going to say, stop. Let's not affirm that. Because, of course, when you say that, you're programming your subconscious mind.
Yes.
We know the subconscious is the big iceberg under the water, the 95%. This is the basis of my work for 40 years, 30 years. If your subconscious mind has a conflict with your conscious mind, your subconscious mind is going to win 100 times out of 100 times. Mm-hmm. So my work is helping people uncover their limiting beliefs, which I believe for the average person, their core foundational belief about all the important things in life they're created before they're 7 or 8 years old. And all the important areas, money and success, health and wellness, God and religion, sex and sexuality, relationships and marriage, all the important stuff You developed them 4, 5, 6 years old. Your parents were abusive, one cheated on the other. You have core foundational beliefs about relationships. And you're going to go out in the world and repeat them unless you question the premise, because that's your model. And so you say, you mean I blew up my marriage at 35 years old because of programming I got when I was 6? Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. You mean I sabotaged my career and I got fired from a job because of programming I got when I was 7? Yeah. Because if you're like most people, you were programmed, like health and wellness. Let's take your area, right? So you, I'm sure, have some really strong, important foundational beliefs about health and wellness.
Yes.
What's the problem with the people coming to your gym, coming to you for coaching? They also have some strong foundational beliefs about health and wellness. What are yours versus what are theirs? Well, even though I've never met any one of your single clients that you saw in the last month, I know exactly what they were programmed with for their core foundational beliefs. They believe that for every decade you get older, you add 5 to 10 pounds of weight, because everybody they saw did that. They believe that when you need help, then you need a medicine or a doctor who will cut something out of your body. They're not thinking of what you suggested earlier, like, hey, how do I get my mind to activate my healing process? They believe that by the time you're 50 years old, you're on 6 prescription medicines. By the time you're 60, you're on 10 prescription medicines. By the time you're 70, you're on 15. My great aunt was 83. I went up there and said, Nettie, I want to see every single prescription, every bottle. She had 23 of them.
Oh my God.
I took her and her 23 bottles down here to Miami to my doctor. And we found that the podiatrist prescribed this one, which counteracted with this one, and this specialist prescribed that eliminated the other one, and then those two created a reaction that a different doctor prescribed. And so we got her from 23 medicines down to 12, which was, but that's, you're raised, like I say, your core beliefs. So for most people, what are their core beliefs? Money is bad. Rich people are evil. It's spiritual or virtuous to be poor. To be a good, successful entrepreneur, you've got to be a bad parent. To build a successful business, you have to exploit people, rip off the customers, pillage the environment. These are the core foundational beliefs that are in their subconscious mind. And if they don't get to a seminar where I'm metaphorically grabbing them by the collar and getting in their grill, or if they're reading one of my books, and I'm, wait a minute, let's just question, what are your beliefs about God and religion? Or what are your beliefs about health and wellness? And for most people, they can go through their whole life and never question those beliefs, so they can never make the change stick, because they're treating the symptom, but they're not treating the cause.
Yeah, love all of that. Like, here's an illustration. It's a little different than what you just shared, but this is about questioning, because I agree with that 100%. I spoke on a panel last month, and when I had the pre-interview, the host was like, and it's our expectation that you will show up in professional attire. And I said, okay, absolutely. I said, whose profession are we going by? I said, because in my profession, I can wear a tank top. I said, so if I'm going to, and it was about authenticity. So it's like, you want me to come in and speak about authenticity wearing a shirt and tie, something that I would never wear into the gym, right? So I would walk into the gym in a shirt and tie, and they would look at me like I had 5 heads, So, and then she had really no answers for that. She was like, oh, okay. She's like, just come in as you are.
Yeah, you question the premise, right? And that's what we've got to do. We just got to question the premise because the amount of stuff that people do, I mean, they're just robots, most people. And like today, with social media and the mind viruses that are created with that, and
Oh God.
the cell phone addiction that people have,
Mm.
most people today are going to bed with their smartphone. The last thing they do is fire off one more post on Instagram or watch five more clips on TikTok or whatever. They wake up, they've got the news alert, the breaking news first thing in the morning. This is, we're like in the matrix. It's not the matrix like the movie, but it's the matrix of the cable news channels, the social media platforms, all the marketers who want to sell you crap that you don't need, all of the political government stuff to brainwash you, to program you to be a worker drone in the collective. All that programming that people get on a daily basis, they don't have no idea it's there. It's thousands of subliminal mind viruses every day. And if you
Yep.
don't become conscious of them, blow them up, replace them with empowering beliefs that serve you, you just become a puppet. So, like right now, we have all the MAGA puppets who are all liberals, are libtards, and they want to give away everything, and they're all socialists and communists, and da, 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 da. And then we have all the same exact level of brainwashing on the liberal side. Everybody
Yep.
MAGA is a racist. Everybody MAGA wants to do this. Whatever. They're all this.
It's so true.
They both extremes. They've lost the ability for critical thinking, for rational analysis. They're completely puppets on a string,
Yep.
and they're powerless to stop it because they don't recognize the programming they have. If someone wants a deep dive on this, on my blog, so randygage.com, just go to the blog, and I need to go see what the just if you search under the blog, I wrote it with the Charlie Kirk thing when Charlie Kirk got assassinated. Remember?
Yes.
So it was the same when Trump got shot. It was the same when Pelosi's husband was attacked and whatever. So
Oh yeah.
here's the actual. The title is Liberals, MAGA, Charlie Kirk, Elon Musk, and they. So here's just, it's a little detour, but I think it's worth taking for the sake of your listeners and viewers, because
Okay.
I got to get back to the screen with you. I don't remember. I got so many sessions open. What are we on? We're on Riverside. What are we?
We're on StreamYard.
Wow, I am so not there. I
Yep.
got to.
StreamYard Studio.
Anyway, so it's like I got a text from my friend. They shot President Trump. I got another one with Kirk. They shot Charlie Kirk with they attacked Pelosi's husband. And so the question that I put in this blog was, who's they?
Mm.
They didn't do that. What do they mean when they say they? And of course, the MAGA people, when they say they mean the liberals. And the liberals, when they say they mean the MAGA people. But there's no they, it's just us, right? And so we've got to look at that. And oops, I almost hung up on you trying to find the. To say, no, it's not they. We've just been brainwashed to demonize the other side, to otherize the outside. So they're not even human anymore. So it doesn't matter what
Exactly.
you say about them because they're not really people, right? We've adopted these online avatar personalities, and we're the noble ones, the good ones, and everybody else is the evil people who want to destroy the world. But it's all just
Yes.
mind viruses, and it's all programming. And so you were programmed with these core foundational beliefs before you were 8. Now that you're 30 or 40 or 50, Meta and X and TikTok spend millions of dollars hiring the greatest researchers in the world, the greatest computer programmers in the world, who develop the most powerful algorithms to turn you into a puppet. Because they only make money when you're on their site. And the way they keep you on the site is they get you afraid of something, or they get you angry about something. So oh my God, there's an update. Whatever the trigger is for you, and then boom, you're on TikTok, and now you're doom scrolling for the next 4 hours. This is one of the biggest challenges we're facing as a society. If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be successful, if you want to be healthy, if you want to have healthy relationships, you have to take control of your mind again. And you can only do that if you recognize who is trying to program me, what are they trying to program me with, and how do I counter program against it.
See, and to illustrate that, outside of politics is corporate America. Corporate America does the exact same thing. When I was leaving my last class today, as two of the women were talking, where she was saying she's in sales and that she has to work on Saturday, but the job isn't gonna pay her. But I guess because it's Black Friday weekend, like, she works on commission, but they weren't gonna give her hourly. So she was like, if I have to come in to work, I should be getting paid. And her manager's response was, it's a privilege for you to work that day. And I was like, that's how people get treated. And I think about how long I spent in the restaurant industry, because I was constantly told how valuable I was and how they couldn't do it without me and all this other stuff. And I held on to it, working like a dog, 60, 70, sometimes 80 hours a week. And when you figure out the math, it's like I'm making like $14 an hour. Like the bartenders are making 40. I'm making 13. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. But to your point, you're stuck in that mind virus. Like, I just had them thinking like I'm gonna get promotions and I'm in line to become a district manager and I'll get a company car and I'll get to write my own schedule, not realizing I was wasting my life away. And the best thing that I did was finally to say, I don't want this anymore. Like, that one sentence changed my entire trajectory in life. Was just, I don't want this anymore. What are your thoughts?
I did that was me. I did the restaurant business. And so I finally worked my way up to manager. I wore a tie, I had a big ring of keys, got to go around with a coffee pot. Hi, how's your dinner this evening? And I realized I made more money when I was a waiter, because I was a good waiter. Man, I was suggesting appetizers. I was suggesting wine. I was suggesting desserts. They had a big check. They were tipping me on that check, and I was there clearing the plates. I was there checking on if the steak was cooked right. I was there coming back. You know what I mean? I made good money. And then, like, same as you, I'm like, well, but that's the title. And then I could be the area supervisor. And then it was just, I don't want to say, it's very important that we don't deal in absolutes. So I never say you can't get rich as an employee. The truth is, there are people who get rich as an employee. If you're Michael Eisner and you run Disney, you're an employee, but you're a multi-millionaire employee, right?
Yes.
But that's very rare. I believe it's easier and quicker to become wealthy being an entrepreneur. Because if you're an employee, still, somebody somewhere has to buy you at wholesale and sell you at retail. And so they're getting that profit margin, you're not. But so, like, my coaching program, I don't know where it came from, but maybe the last couple of years, everybody keeps calling me the entrepreneur whisperer now. Started on some TV show or radio show or podcast or I don't know what, and then it's kind of taken on legs of its own. Because that's my jam. I mean, that's my tribe, entrepreneurs. That's who I can really help, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always encouraging them, how do we get you to be an entrepreneur? Or if they really are in an employment space and they want to stay in an employment space, great. But how do we get you to think like an entrepreneur? Because
Yes.
that is where the critical thinking comes from. That's where the innovation comes from. That's where the breakthroughs come from.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you were saying about your programming. I say that like you see it in fitness all the time. You get guys who are fabulous personal trainers or fitness coaches or athletic strength and conditioning coaches, and they think they can just step out and just open up their own gym. It's like it's not that easy. Like because again, you just went from being an employee, like you don't see what we do on the back office end and the marketing and the branding. And again, I learned that firsthand when I first started, and I didn't really grasp what I was doing until I started traveling and going to seminars and going to masterminds and hiring a business coach. And that was when I learned how to do all of this stuff. Because just going in, it's like, hey, you open the doors and they'll just come. And there were many days I sat in the middle of that gym just watching all the cars go by. And it's like, how come no one's coming here? You know what I mean? Because that's what you think. Like a Planet Fitness, they can do that. But they don't see the millions of marketing dollars that they're putting out in TV commercials and online ads and all this other stuff that the average personal trainer, they don't know that you need all of that stuff because most gyms go under in about 18 months.
Yeah.
Like it's scary. So they don't upgrade themselves. But I want you to spend our last few minutes, because I know you have a hard out, just on your business, what you do, what you offer, if you have any services to offer, where people can find you. So the floor is yours for the next 7 minutes.
All right. So randygage.com. RANDYGAGE, randygage.com. That's my Starfleet command site. That's where all things meet. So my podcast, you can get to it from there. My blog, you can get to it from there. My books will link to Amazon's the best place to get the books. For entrepreneurs, the best books for me are going to be Mad Genius, Risky is the New Safe, and then Radical Rebirth, which would be one for everybody on this podcast. If you're on this podcast, Radical Rebirth is a must read for you. It's how to really reinvent yourself. And so like I say, what I'm working with entrepreneurs. I have a coaching program called Breakthrough You, 3 levels, because you have to start where you got to start, right? The first level is for people who are not prosperous. They're not making good money. They might have a bunch of student loan debt. They might have credit card debt. They don't have prosperity consciousness. They have poverty consciousness, right? They expect bad things to happen. When good things happen, they waiting for the other shoe to drop. If that's where you're at, that's what I call it, the apprentice level, right? It's very inexpensive, but we got to get them. And if you're there, we got to get you out of poverty consciousness into prosperity consciousness. We have to get to the point where at least 50.00000001% of your thoughts are positive. Because even if it's 1/10,000th% more in the positive column than the negative one, that will create another positive thought to tip the scale, and another one, right? The middle level is the alchemy level. You remember alchemy was the ancient practice of transmutation, transformation. How do we convert base metals like lead into gold? That's for people, they're out there, they're hustling, they're going after it, they got business, they listen to the podcast, shut up and grind. They're grinding out there. But they can't quite break the $1 million mark for whatever reason. That's the middle level, the apprentice level. And then I have a level for the ballers, the players, the anarchist level. It's like the 1% of the 1%. And you go with the level that's right for you, because it's all a process. And I work with everybody, believe me. I work with some of the most successful billionaires in the world. And I work with people who are, 2 minutes away from bankruptcy. You got to start where you're at. And I've been at those spots along the journey, right? I am the guy who sold my furniture and slept on the floor. But I'm also the guy who's now in the Speaker Hall of Fame, who's got 16 books, 15 out so far, have all been bestsellers. I've built a multi-million-dollar speaking business. I've built a multi-million-dollar consulting business. I'm an entrepreneur. I've produced more than 23 billion with a B, $23 billion worth of revenue for myself, my team, and my clients and proteges.
Wow.
So I've seen it, all of that. And it's about the mindset, and then you learn the skills, right? But because like the people at my top level, some of them are crazy successful, right? So why are they joining my program? Because I'm the only guy who would tell them the truth, who get in the face and say, that's wonderful. I'm really glad you did $87 million last year. But the fact is, your kids don't even want to talk to you. So what the F is the good is your 87 million, or your marriage is in shambles, or you're 2 cheeseburgers away from a diabetic coma. So how does that work, right? So, because I'm all about the holistic thing, how to be healthy, how to be happy, how to be prosperous, right? And that's the mindset. That, by the way, that'll be a good giveaway for your pod peeps here. On my website, right on the homepage, there's a PDF, 7 Elements of a Prosperous Life. So it's free, just download it. But I think that would give real value to people on, again, how to get the whole thing. Because again, it isn't just the money or the titles or the perks or the bling bling. You really want a prosperous life, the whole picture.
Absolutely. That was awesome. So like I said, I know you got a heart out. If you want to give like a good 30-second final word, and then we'll break this down.
Final 30 seconds. The only free cheese is in the mousetrap. If you want to manifest prosperity, I don't have hacks and whatever. I'm going to show you how to put in the work. And you got to be willing to do the work. But if you're willing to do the work, you work on you, and you look at what do you want to do, have, and become, and then you just start that process, and you work at it every day. You get there. You don't ever get to the summit, pinnacle, end, because it's always a journey. And it's all about just becoming the highest possible version of yourself.
Love it. And I love that quote. The only free cheese is in the mousetrap. That's awesome. And that's a perfect note to end on. So thank you very much for coming, sharing your stories. If you want to come back again and be on one of my panels, we go round table talking about various topics. You can more than welcome come back for that. And enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for everybody watching. Peace.
All right. Take care. All right. So that was Randy. If you tuned in late, make sure you go back and watch the rest of the episode. He gave a lot of wisdom there, shared some powerful stories. And that's all I got for you. So we're doing Monday through Thursday. Monday through Friday now. So all at 12 noon. And the panels are going to be coming back soon as well. So again, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your day.
You've been listening to Shut Up and Grind. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. Robert has over 20 years experience pouring his knowledge and expertise at many events in the service and fitness industry, as well as secondary schools and universities. He has a true passion for helping others break through the barriers that are holding them back. To book Robert B. Foster to speak or to reach out, go to robertbfoster.com. Till next time, shut up and grind.